Good evening. This is Roland McDevitt. I'm the branch chief for paddlecraft safety. Tonight, we're talking about how to influence paddlers' behavior and save lives. Uh, in addition to myself, we have Joey Taguding, who's the branch chief for Oxpat Ashore, and Scott Szczepaniak, who is the recreational boating safety specialist for District 7 and kind of our guru for all things paddlecraft safety. So Joey's going to introduce the topic, and I'm going to hand it over to you, Joey.
Good evening, folks. Thank you, Roland. Appreciate that. Good evening, all. Um, so tonight, rather than have another session on how to perform a paddlecraft vessel safety check, we decided, with Scott's encouragement and Roland's leadership, that we should have a session on basically how to influence paddler behavior such that it saves their lives, basically, is what it comes down to. You don't need to be a vessel examiner or an oxpad operator to have an effective conversation with someone about paddlecraft safety, a beginner paddler, an infrequent paddler, or an inexperienced paddler. You can cover the basics and basically talk to them paddlecraft safety. So tonight, our objective is to give you, the Zoom meeting attendee, or anybody else that's watching this after it's been recorded, some good examples on how auxiliaries, us, can effectively engage in a discussion with new, infrequent, or inexperienced paddlers, such that they positively influence their paddling safety behaviors. This tonight's audience are you folks, any auxiliarist. Don't have to be VE, don't have to be PV, any auxiliarist. So the key themes for tonight's presentation is that most auxiliarists can either easily gain or have the knowledge about how to engage with paddlers on a basic level, like discussing the importance of wearing a life jacket properly. As you'll notice as we run through tonight's presentation, each discussion with a paddler will be different depending upon the audience, their skill level. It'll vary depending upon the venue or location, basically where they paddle, and it'll depend on the kind of craft that they operate or intend to operate, such as a sit inside, a sit on top, or even a stand-up paddler. So tonight's presentation, you'll find out that less is more. We're not trying to cover all of the top important topics. It's a great granular detail. If we try to cram in too much information, we're undercutting the point. So we're trying to keep it brief. Let's see. There'll be no Q&A discussion during the presentations. We're just going to run through them. The only exception is if the presenter has something staged by another presenter. So that'll keep the audience, us engaged. With that, the first presenter this evening is Professor Scott Szczepaniak, and he's going to lead us in a discussion about life jackets. Take it away, Professor.
Well, let's see here. Thanks everybody for coming in tonight. I just want to reiterate what Joey said is we've been teaching a lot of hard skills throughout the paddlecraft safety program about life jackets, about how to paddle a kayak, about how to become an operator, a lot of hard skills. Tonight, the goal is to teach folks how to most effectively influence paddlers' behaviors to reduce fatalities. That's the mission. That's the mission of the recreational boating safety program. And why do we do that? Again, to reduce fatalities. And this picture was taken a week and a half ago, the Saturday before, on a lake near my house. And I don't know if you can see it, but the life jacket is strapped to the kayak, and the body was found by the dive team the next day. So how we influence life jacket wear most effectively. Before we talk about how we do it, we'll talk a little bit about who we are most likely to influence. We've got to consider our audience all the time. Again, back to you, Mr. McDevitt. How would you try to influence this paddler and this group of paddlers? They're launching on the Folly boat ramp where we'll be launching for the spring aux pad training in Charleston. Roland, what advice would you give to this guy?
Uh, I would back off on this guy because he is paddled all over the world and accomplished incredible feats and has designed a kayak that I paddle most often.
Right. He paddles in Anglesey, Wales. He's been doing it since the 60s. Nigel Dennis there. And just by looking at him and looking at that group of paddlers, they've got high-end boats. They're all wearing life jackets. I think that was a springtime event. And Nigel coming from Anglesey, Wales, boy, it was like being in the tropics for him. It was a little chilly for everybody else. Here's my friend Joe Sixpack, and actually Joe Sixpack has joined us tonight. We'll be talking to him a little bit here, but there's your kayak fisherman. He's a guy. He's got a little bit of a beer belly there. You can't really see it. He's in his 30s or 40s. He's out fishing. Hey, Joe Sixpack, are you on the line tonight?
I am here, sir.
All right. Well, you sound like you have a cold. You sound like my friend Joey Taguding, but that's okay. Hey, man, what are you fishing for?
Fish. Now get out of my face.
All right. Well, I just, my name's Scott, and it's a beautiful day, and it looks like a nice, calm day on the water here. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the fact I don't see a life jacket on your boat or your body. The law says that you've got to have one in the boat. The federal law and the state law and good common sense says that you should be wearing that. I just had a guy a week and a half ago lose his life in a fishing kayak. He capsized and the dive team found him the next day. I'm just giving you a friendly suggestion that you might think about wearing a life jacket. What do you think about that, Joe Sixpack?
Nah, I'm good. I've been doing this since I was a kid, so I'm okay. I hear the fish calling. I'm heading out.
Okay, so kind of a typical a typical response from a kayak fisherman. It doesn't mean we shouldn't try. Who's this good-looking guy? Hey, buddy. So just somebody blurt out there, unmute yourself, and how effective you think we're going to be affecting influencing his behavior.
0.
Who's that?
Your favorite person in New York?
Okay, Michelle, why do you say 0? Well, go ahead.
He's just of that age that knows all, does what they want, and it's just not really dressed for kayaking. Just kind of it's that first impression that you see, which is incorrect, but it's that first impression.
All right. Well, let's be a little more optimistic. So we've got less likely a chance of influencing him because of his sex. Us boys are dumber than women as a rule. And Michelle's right. They're at that age, but this guy might have bought that kayak on the cheap for $200, and he might have bought it at a store where he doesn't know that didn't sell life jackets, and he's never seen a picture of a kayaker in a life jacket, and there wasn't a tag hanging on the kayak. So we might say, "Hey, buddy, how you doing here?" And let's never jump right in and get in people's face and say, "Put your damn life jacket on." Let's say, "How you doing? My name's Scott, and boy, I do some paddling myself. That's a beautiful boat. Where'd you buy it?" And man, the weather's great today. And build a little rapport. It only takes a minute or two before you deliver the message. Well,
Scott, I want to interrupt just for a second. Some people are seeing my screen instead of yours.
okay.
You should be able to go to the top of your screen and see Joey's screen, Scott's screen, and Roland McDevitt's screen, and click on Scott's screen to see his video. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Hopefully
Can I
that
interject?
gets us in the- Sure.
I don't know. Here in Alaska, we have a lot of life jacket loaner stations. I would maybe suggest, hey, do you need a life jacket? They've got one over at this loaner station, hopefully one close by to wherever he's at, you're at, whatever. I would approach it that way. Like, hey, if you
Steph,
need to borrow
that-
one, there's one right over there. And
Yep. Great point, Steph. Thanks for that. So again, give them the resources they need to have. Thank you, ma'am. How about these folks? Somebody else that hasn't answered. What do you think our chances of influencing these folks might be?
Well, it looks like they already have them on board.
All right. So what's the next step?
So say, hey, we noticed that you have the life jackets on board. We really suggest that. I really suggest that maybe you put it on, just in case something happens. You'll be prepared. Better
Yeah,
prepared.
and sometimes if we use an analogy that everybody can relate to, you don't stop the car crash and put the seatbelt on and then get back into having the car crash. So the best ones work if you wear them.
yes,
So all right. So let's see here. What's the message? The message is you got to buy it or find it or borrow it, and ideally it's activity specific. So an offshore sailing life jacket doesn't work great in a kayak, but a kayak designed for paddling does. It should be comfortable and it should be Coast Guard approved. We're seeing more and more jackets available on Amazon that are not Coast Guard approved. The next message is wear it properly fitted and zipped up. Ideally, it's got some bright colors here, and we've got a whistle attached to it. So how can we influence? I met these two ladies that are pictured there on the beach. They had their sinking kayaks on Labor Day, and I walked down the beach after I saw that it wasn't time to call a mayday. They were about a quarter mile offshore, and they swam those boats in, and I helped them, and I told them a little bit about Lifejacket Wear. They didn't have any life jackets in the equation. And boy, they were receptive to my message. And I explained to them that I'm an avid paddler. I work for the Coast Guard promoting Lifejacket Wear, and some folks died just that weekend in South Carolina. And I wrote that story up. They were very receptive to my message. I wrote that story up, posted it on the District 7 auxiliary site. By sharing that post to paddling sites, we got well over 50,000 views. And the trick is to post it on a public page and share it on paddling groups. And it's easy. And if you want to learn how to better do that, feel free to reach out to me. We influence Lifejacket Wear through program visitation, public affairs, public education events, vessel safety check events. Fewer words, the better. A good friend turned me on to the book, Smart Brevity. I've been sharing that with Coast Guard leaders around the country and paddle sports leaders around the country. So if you're a reader and a lifelong learner, Smart Brevity about how to effectively communicate. How do we do it? How do we influence at the launch, at the beach, with neighbors, on social media? And I think Scott here just got his brand new life jacket from Walmart this afternoon. It did cost $13 today at Walmart. And I think somebody is going to teach me how to put it on. I'm standing by. I'm a novice paddler. I've got my life jacket here tucked under the deck bungees at the ramp. And I need somebody to teach me how to put it on.
I would be happy to show you how to put on this life jacket so that it keeps you safe. And also, is comfortable, and yeah, let's get started.
I'm ready.
Okay. So let's take a look at this life jacket first. The thing I would love to know most is this Coast Guard approved? If it is, there should definitely be a label where it mentions that it is Coast Guard approved.
Right on the inside, it says life jacket is Coast Guard approved.
Fantastic. And that just goes to show you can get a great life jacket for a very inexpensive price. Okay, so let's make sure it fits. Let's start out with, it should also indicate what size and weight this life jacket is indicated for.
For more than 90 pounds, and it's a universal 30 to 52-inch chest size.
Do you know what your chest size is?
It's about 46 long.
Okay, so far so good. Okay, well, let's start by getting this on you. Why don't you slip this, your arms through, keeping the buckles and everything exposed and loose and free and not tangled up. Do you feel comfortable?
So far, so good.
Okay, now before you do anything else, and I apologize, we probably should have gone back, but because it's a new life jacket, I assume there's no wear and tear. You didn't see any holes on. I'm sorry, I know.
Yeah, it's brand spanking new.
Yeah, and the only reason why I mention that is sometimes you might come across life vests on boats or other vessels that they've just been stored there for years and they may have never been used and like new, but bugs can get to them. The material disintegrates. You want to make sure there's no tears or holes or sun damage that has weakened the fabric.
All
How
right,
does it look? It looks good?
good to go.
Okay, wonderful. Do you notice, does it have a buckle down? I'm having a hard time seeing. Is it a zip up or just buckles?
It's got 3 buckle straps on it. I'm wiggling them out now so they'll fit. There we go.
Okay.
All right,
And-
good to
and-
go.
Now, a lot of times individuals just snap these on and they think they're good to go and it's just to, cover the bases, but you really want to make sure that you are, using it and getting the most out of it for its intended use. So you want to make sure everything is snug, but not too snug. You want to be able to breathe and you want to be able to twist and turn, especially if you're kayaking or stand-up paddleboarding. Looks good. Okay, now the next thing that one of the most important things is that you don't want, when you're in the water, when this thing floats, you don't want it to rise up to your ears. You want it to stay in place. And the way we can do that now is to raise your arms overhead and just make sure that that it's still staying low and not riding up as you lift up your arms.
Looks good.
Yeah, I don't see it pulling up to your ears or anything or higher or anything like that. I think you're probably good to go.
All right. So we started out, thank you, AJ, for that. It's easy peasy, just keep it simple. Wear the life jacket and this is how you wear it. Thank you again. On the same day that opening slide fatality happened, about 30 miles away from there, this guy, Dennis, capsized in the Edisto River. He had a social media post. He said he didn't wear a life jacket for years. And actually, one of my students had been talking to him about the importance of wearing life jacket, and he started wearing it. And on this day of the capsizing in the relatively cold water, he posted that he's alive today because he had his life jacket on. So again, we are saving lives, influence life jacket wear and save lives. Thank you.
My name is Al Olson. I'm noticing the nice color of the life jacket. It should blend in with the water very nicely. Whereas before you had a rule up there that said the life jacket should be a bright color.
Well, Al, we're going to hold some questions till the end because we have a few other presentations, but hold that thought and we'll come back around to it.
Roland, I think you're up next there, guy.
Okay, let's try this again. Okay, this is the harbor entrance where I live, looking out onto the Albemarle Sound. And this is the actual harbor. And if you look out here, there's a large body of water that, if you go straight west, it's 35 miles. Obviously, we have wind here. We're famous for the Wright brothers flying their plane here because it was windy. And here in the harbor, you'll notice we have all kinds of protected water that's inside the island. And there are lots of kids that play around here in the harbor on both swimming on small boats. And there's a young man, Scotty Smalls, that hangs around the harbor. And it's a June day. It's 78 degrees. The wind is 13 knots out of the south. It's been very windy in the morning, and it's still gusting in the afternoon. It's 28 knots of gusts. But here inside the harbor, it's pretty protected. Well, Scotty is basically looking out here and thinking of going out the harbor. So I'm saying, hey, Scotty, are you thinking of going out of the harbor in that recreational kayak? And by the way, Scotty, I'm really glad to see you wearing your life jacket.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited, old timer. I can't wait to get paddling. It's a pretty new kayak to me.
So Scotty, do you think the wind out there looks like it's going to be a problem for you, or this is what it looks like in here? What have you thought
Yeah.
about the wind?
No, sir. Look how calm that is. It's just some TTRs, teeny tiny ripples there right in the harbor.
So, Scott, I want you to look around here. In addition to the ripples, do you see anything else that might give you an indication of what the wind might be?
Well, maybe some flags and the trees are moving a little bit, but I don't really feel it down here in my kayak.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how much protection we get here in the harbor. If you look up at these trees, you're going to see these branches are moving pretty well. And if you look at kind of behind us, if we turn around, the pine trees are quite tall, and they're really swaying back and forth. So it's a really good indication of what's happening outside the harbor, because it's not just what's happening inside, but what's outside. So let's. This is a picture of actually a little bit less wind than is going on outside the harbor right now. I'll be able to show it to you on my phone without you going out there. Do you see anything in this picture that indicates that there might be some wind?
Yeah, I've got white caps and waves. That looks a little rougher out there. I don't know about that.
And that kayak you're in is a pretty high profile. So it's not like a little sports car that sits down next to the water. It's sticking up in a way that could catch some wind. So this is what they call a gentle breeze. It's actually quite a bit of breeze for somebody that's not too experienced and doesn't have a lot of training. We actually had a young man about your age 3 years ago that came out of the harbor here. It was blowing about 20 miles an hour that day. The wind was out of the south, and it went straight north. What do you think happened to him?
Well, he blew out. He blew out, I guess. I don't know. You're starting to make it clear that maybe I should just stay in the inner harbor here.
Well, I think one of the things you really have to think about is, if I'm going to go out, can I make it back? And probably if you do go out, probably a smart thing to be paddle into the wind and not with the wind, because you're going to find it's really easy to paddle with the wind, but getting back can be a problem. That young man came out of here, it was about 20 miles an hour that day. It caught his kayak and it took him right over here into this marshy area. And he didn't do a great job of figuring out the wind, but he had his cell phone with him. And he called the Coast Guard. And the Coast Guard called one of our auxiliaries, and we went out there and picked him up. But if he hadn't had that phone, he could have been stuck over here in this wetlands area, and it could have been quite serious. So wind can be a big problem when when you don't anticipate how it's going to handle it, how much it can blow you. Also, what else can it do on the water besides kind of just blow you? Those whitecaps, did you notice what those were like?
Yeah, well, that made it a little rough in the kayak, and I don't know. Did I just hear a rumble of thunder in the distance?
Yeah, that's something you should be definitely thinking about. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But if you'll notice that some of these areas of water here are quite large. It's about 35 miles coming across here. And when you get wind of, even 10 or 15 knots, those waves can build up coming in here and also coming up from the south. So it's really important for you to take a look at those trees if you can't see what's happening out on the sound. Figure out how much is likely to be happening out there. Maybe it's a good idea to even walk to the beach and take a look from the shore before you paddle out from the harbor. But what other? So you got a nice harbor area here. Do you see any other areas that might be protected around here that if you wanted to go someplace other than the harbor?
Yeah, all those little nooks and crannies, maybe to the island to the south and the southeast, or maybe you're making me think that maybe just right here in the small harbor is my best
Yeah,
bet.
the harbor's a great place. Kitty Hawk Bay, if you have nice launch over here, you might be protected depending on the wind. You noticed all these lightning strikes. This is another thing we need to think about. So really, when you talk about wind, it's a matter of how do you know what the wind is just looking at it and listening for it. But also, there's really good places to go for forecasts. And when you're on the water, it's not just when you get to the water, it's like what happens once you're out there. This fellow wasn't aware that there was a water spout following him back to his house. Uh, so it's really important to be listening, feeling for the changes in the weather while you're out there, and and be looking behind you as well as in front of you. So, Scotty, how much wind do you think is too much? Like if you're a beginning paddler, uh, do you have any idea of how many miles an hour it should be for a beginning paddler?
Well, I'm just maybe guessing maybe 10 miles an hour, just some gentle movement in the trees.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb. I go online and I see people talking about yeah, I go in 25 and I go in 40. I think a lot of those people don't know what they're talking about. And some of them are, they say they can paddle downwind but not upwind. Well, you need to find your way back too. Uh, so yeah, I think 10 miles an hour is a really good rule of thumb for a person that's just starting out. And part of it's your skills and part of it's your craft. And that recreational craft you're in is really not built for getting out on open water like that. Uh, we talked about kind of the waves, how you could judge it from the waves. Those white caps that you saw, they start to come on at about 10 miles an hour or 12 miles an hour. That's a really good thing to look for. When you start seeing white caps as a inexperienced paddler, that's a good warning that it's probably too windy. There's also some great weather apps out there I'm going to show you in a minute. And we talked about just finding protected areas. I think that's really important. So it's not just how windy is it when I look at the forecast, but where am I going to go? Am I going to go to the side of the island that's protected?
Can you make the screen a little smaller? Is, is that the whole slide?
I'm sorry.
The screen is extended, it seems like. So we're
Oh,
not
okay.
seeing the
I
whole
think I
slide.
see what yeah. You want the screen larger?
Smaller.
Smaller.
Yeah, it's
It's not
getting
a
cut off
slideshow version.
unless it's made like that. And
Yeah,
then-
I think you can drag parts of your screen around. So one of the things I like to do with people when I talk to them is show them our website. Our Flotilla's website's got some really good resources on it, and it's a good place to just kind of get them to our website and show them some other things. So another factor here is cold water. We've got links to a place to find out about cold water locally. Windy.com is a great site for wind. And then we've got some other web apps here that we link to as well. So those are some of the things that we think are useful just for sharing with people.
Well, I want to thank you, Mr. McDevitt. I remember you now. Some people in town told me about you, and they're right. They're smart. You're smarter than most people think you are.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy was with the water spout coming in behind him. I don't know anything about that.
Very good, Roland.
Okay, so I probably need to
Yes.
here, and you should be able to load yours.
Roland's getting on that. Limber up your fingers, open up your chat box. At the top of each of these slides, there's going to be a question. Enter your answer into the chat box. I'm going to light up that chat box. Otherwise, I'm going to start reading from page 1. All right. So tonight, how to positively influence a paddler's behavior. We're going to talk about the so popular rules to navigation. Got your chat box open? You ready to rock and roll? Because the first slide and all the slides, we're going to talk about navigation rules, right? And how are navigation rules going to positively change a paddler's behavior? Simple. We read every single rule, all 202 pages. And if you notice, there's a question at the top of this. Type in your answer now. So to positively change a paddler's behavior, we're going to read the book. I don't think so. All right. We're going to use what I call kiss and wows. Does anybody know what a kiss or a wow is? Well, let me show you. On the left is kiss, and on the right are wow. So, and there's a question. Type in your answer. On the left, it's keep it simple, sailor. When you talk to them, talk English. I talk 2 languages. I talk English and bad English, and I'll try to use my good English on you. On the right, I'm going to cover some 7 words of wisdom for you to use when you introduce yourself to a paddler. Let's keep the show rolling. To effectively change a paddler's behavior, put a mental image in their head. This mental image that was put in my head was given to me by Professor Szczepaniak. Ain't that a great image? Put that image in your head. Think about what it says. Because if you're paddling out in the water, you don't want to get squished. That's the tagline. That's your soundbite. That's what you want to tell your paddlers. You don't want to get squished. Got it? Here's the deal. Oh, wait, what is that? Do you guys hear that? You want to talk to them about the navigation colors, because the navigation colors are the same as Christmas colors. Not the colors that Burl Ives is singing, not silver and gold, But, of course, the Christmas colors of red and green and red. Got it? Answer the question at the top. The green are always odd. The red are always even. That's all you got to tell these folks. Green and red. When you approach a paddler, do you know what green is? Do you know what red is? Half the battle. Because the buoys are green and red, right? Once you know that, you're golden. Because here's the deal. Green and red indicate the channel boundaries. The channel boundaries mark where the bigger and faster boats travel. If you know where the bigger boats are, stay out of their way. And that means minimizing your exposure to those power boats. Stay closer to shore, get over the left side of the green or the red, get over the right side of the green and the red. In other words, wow number 3 is to stay out of the channel. The words of wisdom is stay away from the bigger boats. Got it? Good. These are simple tips to get out to the paddler once you greet them. This title talks about vision, being able to see. I see you. Paddle tip reflectors are a great way of being seen, right? What's your opinion on paddle tip reflectors? Slide number 8. Tell me whether you love them or hate them. So paddle tip reflectors, we're passing them out. Those are ways to be seen. Other ways are the colors of your paddle, right? Other ways are the color of your boat. And when I say colors, I'm talking about, well, number 4, wow, number 4 is you want to be seen. Use these paddle tip reflectors. Have a bright colored boat if you can, have a bright colored paddle. And I talk about the paddle because I used to be a kayak fisherman. I had a green paddle, and whenever I signal someone, they always say it blended in. So I stuck a couple of these silver tip paddle reflectors on it, no problem. That's wow number 4. So the other color you want to look for, high visibility clothes, right? We all know what those are as Oxpad operators and qualifiers. Wear bright clothing. Wow number 5, wear bright clothing. So we take a look, and on the left is your outdated original model, and on your right is your new and improved model. The question at the top is asking you, which model has the bigger smile? Answer that for me, please. So when we talk about bright clothing, brighter is better. You want bold colors. You want neon yellow. You want blaze orange, like your models are wearing there. My vote is for Professor Szczepaniak, by the way. So wow number 5 is to wear your bright clothing. You want to be seen, wear bright clothing. So I'm looking for a sports analogy. I'm a sports widow. My wife loves sports. I was the joker that brought a magazine to a baseball game, a hockey game. So I came up with a sports analogy for this. What is this sign for? This says paddle defensively. That's all my knowledge of sports that I know. So whether you're an offensive or offensive paddler or a defensive paddler, you want to be a defensive paddler, which means staying close to shore and crossing the channel as quickly as possible. Crossing the channel at the shortest distance, crossing it as fast as you can, and never forgetting that you're paddling as fast as the slowest paddler can paddle. Wow number 6 is to paddle defensively. Stay away from the bigger boats. So, how many folks are my age and played the game Frogger, or even remember what Frogger was? Frogger is what you're playing when you're out there in the channel, folks. What I'm suggesting is you imagine yourself as the invisible man, or woman, or person, or whatever. Because when you talk about being seen, you take a look at this boat on the picture on your right, and you see the little specks on that picture. Those are paddlers. The captain of this ship is like 20 stories up. You think he's going to be able to see these jokers? I don't think so, Tim. So, wow number 7 is paddle like you are invisible. So, and other boats can't see you because they can't see you. So get out of the way, stay out of the way, get out of the channel, and paddle like you're invisible. Let's do a quick summary. I'm going to show you the picture. You make a mental note of what you remember the wow number to be. Here's your first one. The mental image, getting stomped. You got 2 seconds? Don't get squished. That's what you want to tell your paddlers. Real simple. Don't get squished. Question number 2. What does this image bring to mind? Simple. Navigation colors, same as Christmas colors, red and green. Number 3, what does this picture show you? Simple. It marks the boundaries of the channel. Stay out of the channel. You don't want to play where the big boats roam. Number 4, what is this picture? It's the paddle tip reflector, and it's an indicator that you want to be seen. You want the other boat to see you. Picture number 5 with these beautiful gentlemen. What are they showing? Simple. Wear bright clothing, bright orange, bright, bold, make a fashion statement. Item number 6. You football players should know this, right? Paddle defensively. That's what you want to tell these folks. And last but not least is number 7. You want to paddle as if you were invisible because you are invisible. They don't see you. Those are the wows. Those are the words of wisdom that you want to get across when you meet the new, infrequent, or novice paddler. Because you don't want to end up like this guy did. He literally got cut in 2 by a power boat. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed the show. Roland, it's all you, my friend.
Thanks, Joey. Somebody asked for where the previous Oxpad seminars, and I just put it into the chat. And I'll send that out separately as well. So I think some of the big basic messages that we're trying to get across here is a lot of times we think it's all about telling people everything we know. And that's really probably not going to work very well. Either we know too much and we can't get it across, or it's not relevant to them. So it's really important to keep it simple and figure out what's the message that's going to resonate with them. What's relevant for this individual, and that's
I have a meeting with another company tomorrow.
That's likely to be. Let me close that. That's likely to be something that's local. It might be local stories, it might be local conditions. So it's really valuable to kind of know what's been happening locally. Scott was talking about some of the fatalities that happen locally. We all should be keeping track of that and figuring out how to address that with our messaging. So I think we have some time here. If people would like to raise some targeted questions, we've got about 10 minutes here.
Oh, this is Jeff Angus. I did want to add something for the weather for people doing primarily river. It's not just important to know your local weather, but you really need to be looking 30, 40, 50 miles upriver to see what that weather is. Here in the Midwest, we have a lot of constrained rivers that go through the valleys, and that water level can raise really dramatically. So it's just really important to plan ahead, watch for those weather conditions.
Yeah, and I think on weather forecasts, it's don't just look at your launch time, but you look throughout the day and what some of the possibilities are, and I think also just kind of the situational awareness of being really tuned into what's happening. It's not all about looking at the apps, but being able to be aware of changes and conditions.
This is Pat Groves. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I have a concern about liveries. I do some traveling and I often end up renting a kayak. So a couple months ago, I was in Florida and my cousin and I rented a tandem and we were paddling with the manatees, which was really awesome because we saw some. But we first of all, they gave us type 2 life jackets. We wore them. we were the only people on the water who had them on. There was absolutely no discussion of that when we rented the boat. And I've had this experience before, but I think we need to think about that as a place where we could really make an impact.
So there's some excellent work that the National Association of State Boating Law Administrators has done. And if you go to our Recreational Boating Safety or B Directorate website, you can download it. There's basically a one-page kind of to-do list for liveries and another one for talking to retailers. It's really good, and I think you're right. And it's a lot of people are doing vessel exams for liveries, but they're maybe not spending the time with the actual people that work at the livery about the importance of wearing life jackets and not just having them on the boat, but encouraging people to wear them. That's their policy. You know, it's not just the Coast Guard that worries about that stuff. So yeah, I think there's some really good material out there. Scott's or Joey's pointing to it here, and I encourage you to use that. And you know, that might be a program visitation thing, or it might be something you'd incorporate with vessel safety checks.
Okay, this
And
is
I'll
Don.
second that. If I can jump in real quick, this is Jeff again. Actually, the active duty has contacted me and a couple other people with some liveries that are on federal waterways, and that is actually part of the program that we've discussed with them. And we do combine that with the PV as well as the vessel exams, and meeting with the actual owner or the management for those concessionaires and just explaining that risk. And several of them are now actually using some of the posters and flyers that we've got for like National Safe Boater Week as well, and have putting additional signage up to encourage paddlers to wear them. So it does work. I've actually had really good success with that.
Well, that's great to hear.
Hey, this is Donna Hornsby down in Florida. Out of curiosity, were you in the Fort Myers area at the livery that you went to?
I was at Crystal River.
Okay. And the reason I ask is we have one that changed rental companies, and I'm actually going out the first part of May, and whenever I started, stopped there before with the other company, they didn't want any part of it. And the new one, I'm actually going to go out and doing both a safety briefing for them to be able to do, and then also doing their vessel exams. So I was just curious if it happened to be the one that I'm reaching out to, but different area.
This is Sue Lang. I had my hand up.
Hi,
Who
Sue.
has the best way to keep those reflective stickers on the paddles?
One thing that's important is to make sure that you let them stay on for quite a while before they get wet. So really push them on hard. You might try like a what do you call those plastic applicators like you use with epoxy?
If you wash them down with alcohol, clean the area, and then put it on, they stick very well.
Yeah.
In the olden days, I used to remember when we used to get a bazillion AOL CDs in the mail? I would break those up and glue them onto the paddle. Made a very good reflective surface.
Scott?
Yeah, and there's folks often in the program don't understand what those stickers are for. Sure, they might make the paddler more visible, but they sure are shiny, and we like shiny things. And if you say to that novice paddler, hey, I got this shiny thing for you, hold it up, blind them with it. Ooh, I want that. Now you've bought yourself an opportunity to talk to them with the first message being, wear your life jacket, and pleasantly, but you've given them something, they owe you a little bit of time. That is the most important use. We're not seeing fatalities because people don't have reflector tips on their paddles. We're seeing fatalities because folks paddle out into a pond, capsize, and drown because they don't have a life jacket on. So again, great. They might make us a little more visible, but they're your silver ticket to talk to your paddler about life jacket wear.
Thank you, Scott. I think that's true about a lot of the stuff that we hand out. You know, we don't want to just be dropping these off at libraries and things. We want to be talking to people. That's really where we have the most influence.
Can I speak?
Yeah.
It seems like people are just jumping in. I work at Hudson River Park, and I'm from Governor's Island Flotilla in downtown Manhattan. But I also work at Hudson River Park, which has got 3 boathouses. We've got hundreds of paddlecraft and kayaks. We have jet skiers coming in from Jersey, crossing the Hudson. We have tremendous currents. We have that's where the estuary is. So you've got the salinity, you've got the salt water coming in with the Hudson River coming down from Canada. And at night I see the paddlers out there, and there's one little tiny light, and we have so much traffic. There's so much maritime traffic on the Hudson River.
Yeah.
And I met Chris Howe at D-Train this year, and I'm really hoping that we can get where it needs to go. We're talking about hundreds of people getting onto the river. We have fatalities every week, people jumping, people pushing, and so do you guys have a future workshop for like congested areas and people not obeying the rules? I think that's really, really important, because those jet skiers that come in from Jersey, there could be 20, 100 at a time. And it's really awful. And NYPD, like the Marine One, and so.
Well, we're always open for volunteers when putting these things together. Uh, I don't have a lot of that kind of issue locally down here, but I think, if that's something that, that
This is New York City. So
yeah.
I mean, they're going to be opening up soon. And I just see it because I work at the park. It's 4 miles of maritime real estate from
Mhm.
Battery Park up to 59th Street. And it is, we need help, I mean, I can only do so much myself.
Yeah. Um, what kind of messaging would you see? I mean, people should wear more lights or stay out of the busy traffic areas, or what would the
We
message
do
be?
a lot of we try to do boating. So they only do like one boating safety. Like we have Fleet Week coming. We have, I've been talking with the Gold Side on trying to get, there's Submerge, we just have events every week. And with the boathouses there, it's just, it's a perfect storm for problems. It's New York City, so we have trouble every day.
Yeah.
But I think that we have a great opportunity to kind of build a platform for an urban paddlecraft. Like I think we need to look at the different environments where people are, it's like Florida, people are jamming, it's nice weather, this is cold, the Hudson's cold.
There's some, I know there's some really strong paddle clubs up in that area. And these are people that when they paddle, they go with the gear and the radios, and they're really tuned in to what's happening around them. This might be the kind of thing that we could partner with them to,
Yeah, technology, definitely. Yeah, because people are very tech savvy here.
Yeah.
So, anything you guys, because I just became a NS appointed for my flotilla, and I would love to get started with, with the ATONs, just helping where it needs to be, because we need help.
Yeah. Well, yeah, give me a call and we'll see what we can do.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Well,
I have a couple.
Roland.
I had my hand up for a while here. Is
Yeah.
it my turn?
Sure.
Two things. How to get it to stay? How to get those stickers to stay on? The silver ones don't stick as well as our decals. Maybe next time we order it, we can order from people that make the decals because those things stick great. Second, when you do stick them on, they're advised to leave them on 12 hours. And lastly, I don't remember who told me this. I thought it was Scott, maybe. I'm wrong. But 3M Edge Seal will keep them on your paddle, and that's apparently the right tool to use. And then what I was originally going to ask was I've been doing a lot of rental places down here in Florida because they have the 100 paddlecraft challenge. So I was trying to do that, and my flotilla commanders said that I found a loophole and I'm cheating by doing rental places. So should I feel bad that I'm doing rental places and stop doing that because it's not appreciated, or
Scott, do you want to
Yeah,
address?
Sean, I can speak to that on behalf of Rear Admiral Schofield. The purpose of the vessel safety check is not about the stuff. We're not losing paddlers because of problems with kayaks. We're losing paddlers because people aren't wearing life jackets and they're not paying attention to the weather in Florida, and they're not wearing life jackets. And so for each, if you do 100 or 50 boats in a livery, you've spent no time talking to paddlers, encouraging them to wear their life jacket. And so the better bang for the buck is quantity or quality, not quantity. The better bang for the buck is I would wish you would talk to 10 paddlers instead of putting 50 stickers on livery boats. But do you have any, is that clear enough, or any follow-up questions, Sean?
Yeah, I'll stop doing liveries. I'm just wasting my time. No problem.
Well, please follow up with me, sir, and we'll talk about it because I know you're doing good things down there, and we'll make you.
I was told to stop doing them. I'm wasting my time, so that's why I asked the question, and you kind of confirmed it. Thank you.
Okay, but
Can I
again,
add a little
Sean,
bit of an alternate, just thinking? I would think that there's value, but maybe treat it as community relations. I get it where sticking stickers on that many paddlecraft is really, I wouldn't call it cheating. I think at one time they said were going to give a half a point to a paddlecraft versus a full point. I would think of it more as a community relations. And I look at the paddlecraft and their life jackets because some of them are just in terrible condition as far as the life jackets, so suggest that perhaps they remove some of them. And some of them, the bungee cords are all torn up, or the flotation inserts aren't there. So there's value, but maybe it's a community relations effort.
I'm failing boats. I mean, there's boats that leak. They have, one of the liveries over in California. They're doing a lot of work to try to get 300 whistles because, they don't have whistles on their life jackets. And every time I go there, the guy that I spent almost 8 hours today. I was talking to the 4 people that work there about the Coast Guard, the auxiliary, water safety. I talked to all about them, about the things that are on the list, and to make sure that they made sure that their paddlers would talk to things on the list. So the way I was looking at it, I could spend 1 hour doing this and maybe a half an hour talking to this 4 people instead of spending 10 minutes talking to one person. And then those 4 people are going to speak to hundreds of paddlers. I thought I was multiplying my efforts by training the trainers.
And Sean, you are. And so if you're there by yourself putting 50 stickers on, that's not doing a lot of good. But when you're interfacing with the management and the staff, teaching them about the importance of life jacket wear, yes, you've just built a 4-person army at that one livery. So Again, it's not a black and white thing. I'm not telling you to stop doing it, and I am encouraging you. We can follow up and talk about some best practices and strategies. And Donna Hornsby's doing a lot of good work down there as well. Happy to have her weigh in.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I think this was a really good discussion. Uh, I'll be getting this posted in the next day or so, and hope we could have some more of these in the coming months. And we got a lot of other fun things planned. We're still going to do kayaking 101 this year. We've got spring Oxpad training. Joey and I and others are doing Oxpad academies. So, if you want to actually get out on the water and do some of this stuff as part of the afloat program, let us know. We'll get you hooked up on some of that kind of thing.